Good evening, YouTube world.
Did you miss me? Is that how they say it? Martin, did you
Oh,
miss
oh, oh! You
me?
talking about? I forgot. You talking about Tommy Davis's character?
Yes, he's so funny.
Yeah. Well, so we decided to do a recording. We haven't done one in a while. In case you've forgotten about us, my name is Mars, and my counterpart is Venus. Say hey, Venus.
Hey,
Okay. Well, we've been talking about some topics that we can go over, and we decided to go over a topic that is rather important in the Black community that really don't get talked about a lot, and it's probably not. eh, people don't pay attention to it, but it needs to be a talking point because people aren't paying attention to what society's doing today. It's about financial literacy.
and some things that we learned.
I say this is our journey of financial literacy really probably kicked into gear like within the last 3 years. But I think we've been working towards it for some time now, but really in the last 3 years. And there are some trends that we are seeing amongst our people that we know, just observing people that just grinds my gears or grinds our gears. And for you listeners, for those who are interested, we just want to just provide some things that could be that aren't going to affect your day to day life, but just a minor shift in how you do things can set you and your family on the path of success going forward. Now, let's be clear: this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take some minor changes in your life, but if you really truly try to get something done, you can do it. So Venus is going to name a few things, and
Well, we'll just go back and forth. I think
okay,
it's
that's
better.
fine. All right, that's fine.
Like, I think because I grew up poor and you grew up differently, that I didn't
middle
learn.
class. That's middle class.
Yeah, you grew up middle. I mean, but for me, it would be like you're rich.
Yeah. Okay.
To me, but I didn't learn about these things until a lot of it is like when I got with my husband, as him being a boyfriend and me kind of just letting my guard down and understanding or paying attention or actually hearing him out. So one thing that I do is every time that I do get paid, I put money aside. I pay myself first. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It's whatever, you could put aside for yourself. Even if that's $5, after a while, that $5 does build up. So it's one thing I'm really, really big on is I pay myself first just so I have a savings account. Okay.
Okay, but well, I asked you a question. Okay, but savings accounts don't. Unless you're doing your research, it's a safe bet. You're saving. Your bank isn't going to tell you about these new plans that they have for savings accounts.
Yeah. Well,
it's your job to do the research.
Because I was a Capital One member, I did get told about the savings account.
Okay.
And
but every bank is going to do that.
Right. But I knew so that one has a high interest rate. I think it's like 3.5, I think. Mm-hmm. So my money, even while I'm sleeping, I'm still making money, which is definitely part of the goal, or it should be part of the goal.
Okay.
But I mean, it is small things. Like I said, you grew up differently than what I did. Mm-hmm. Just something like that is, some people don't even have that.
Yep.
They don't even understand to do that. So it's just something so small like that.
Well, okay. Now, when I make this statement isn't going to be like a broad statement, but we got to get out of our own damn way. And when I say that, it's like when obviously, okay, so we need to understand the government is not going to help us.
Absolutely.
They are not. The government, when they provide things for you, if anything, I can make a case that they're giving you to keep you where you're at.
Yeah. I
Right?
agree with that.
And it just bothers me that when they were sending out those stimulus checks, and and that was your perfect opportunity to get your hustle on, but instead
legally
we were going to these luxury stores, and there was lines out the door and around the corner,
Which
and it
is
was a lot of
so
us in those lines because you knew Uncle Sam was going to drop that check in your bank account the following week. That's where we made a mistake. That was our opportunity to build cash flow and then figure out, okay, I got a nest egg. What do I need to do?
But then also too, those luxury brands that don't contribute to our communities, and then they have definitely some forms of racism. So let me just put that out there too. So
all right. So my first one is, I get it. I think it says it was 75% about 5 years ago, maybe more than that. 75% of the U.S. market lives paycheck to paycheck. It may be more than that now. However, we are at a time where all you need is a cell phone, and you can have a side. You can have supplemental income just by having a cell phone. All these social platforms, TikToks, Instagram, reselling of merch, all these things that all you need to do is just have some way to make a secondary income and then use that income to invest in something, diversify yourself. You mentioned savings accounts.
Savings account with a high interest rate, high yield return. That's all okay.
I mean, while some people might not have knowledge of it, but you have stocks. You have penny stocks. Penny stocks is probably the safest thing to do. Some people might not like it. Cryptocurrency. There's a multitude of avenues, and we really don't have the time to really go over them. This is more so just an overview. Another thing that I would like to have before I bounce it back to
may only do two a piece.
Is if, and these are people that have pensions, and I kick myself because I probably wasted a lot of money. I was over investing in my pension. So,
but tell them why you don't do that.
Well, because a lot of, and I won't say, I won't say a lot of companies. I'll say most companies, they're gonna match a certain percentage.
Yeah.
Normally it ranges between 3% and 6%.
Yeah, I don't think they go over 6. I haven't heard a company go over 6.
And so if that company is going to match you dollar for dollar, then you maximize that. So for me, I looked at it like, okay, I live comfortably. I have this money left over. But
tell them why.
What do you mean? We talking about why? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Why don't you invest like a whole lot of money into your 401k?
Well, it's not even just 401k. It's just about diversifying. Period. Because we're at a time now where the dollar is actually losing value. So pensions are important. Let me don't. 401k and pensions are important. Let me not just totally dismiss that, but don't look at that as the end all be all, like how our parents were, where your pension and your Social Security was all you needed, and that was okay with them, and that worked for a while. Within the next 10, 20 years, matter of fact, there was a law where they moved up. Not a law, but they were talking about Social Security is going up to 70. It's going up to 70. Yeah.
Because it was supposed to end by the year, the funds are supposed to run out by 2035.
So
comment, and subscribe.
So read the tea leaves. The government is kind of telling you
we're not going to take care of your ass.
Telling you what's going on. So they're pretty much, so you got to work till when you hit 70 to even have access to Social Security. Something that you put money into. Just something to think about that. Yeah. Okay, Venus.
Okay, and then, I don't want to go over too long because it gets too lengthy.
We got a few more minutes. Keep going.
Pay your bills before you spend money on anything else, like luxury things. Pay your bills first. No, I'm just saying because that's very important for people to do before you buy those shoes, before you buy that dress that you don't need because you got 20,000 dresses in there. Pay your bills. Another thing that I do too is I pay my bills half. I pay my bills every time I get paid, I pay bills. Boom, boom. So I half my bills. And what that does, it'll put you ahead too. Because I think there's 2 months out of the year where there's 3 pay periods. Mm-hmm. It is something that I learned actually from my mom. I learned that from my mom.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what you just said something is like, it's pretty much you're shooting yourself in the foot. Oh, I want to go to this concert, but my rent's due, but I can afford to pay my rent, but my card note's due, so I'm gonna be late on my card note because all they're gonna do is just charge me some interest. So now you're playing catch up. I mean, we're guilty of doing these things, and that's a lot of our problem. We have a problem with prioritizing what's important in our life.
Okay.
So I think we covered it all.
No, you didn't do 3.
I said diversify pension. Government isn't going to help. I said with the social media makes money. And I said take some tax return and flip it.
You didn't do tax return.
Oh, it's tax return. Oh, okay. So we have a problem when we get that tax return money. We go out there. We consider tax
There's
return.
some people, you saying, it's not us.
Yeah.
When you're talking about our community.
Yeah, obviously this conversation is about our community.
Okay.
We have a problem that we look at our tax return as some of them view it as a part of your annual income, which is the worst thing you can
Absolutely.
do. And in a perfect world, if you barely have to pay, if you barely have to owe something, that's actually what's supposed to happen. Because what you're doing, you're giving Uncle Sam a loan for the year, and if you pay too much, he's paying you back. That's what your tax return is.
So what you're saying is you would have more taxes taken out every paycheck is what you're saying. So you wouldn't, right? Yeah.
Well, so there's 2 ways to do it. If you pay more into it, well, I think it depends. It depends on like what your previous tax return was, because it depends on how much money you make. But if you owe, then that means you didn't pay enough.
That's what I'm saying. So you have a little bit more taken out of your paycheck.
Yes.
Every time you get paid. So then when it's tax time, you might break even, or just like I don't owe, so you don't owe, you don't get nothing back. And I think that's a good thing, because people want to splurge when they get that tax return and buy the dumbest stuff. To me, it's dumb.
We always do it. We're guilty of that.
Yeah,
you buy stuff you don't need.
Right.
I got they just gave me $8,000. Let's go buy some rims. Let's go put a sound system in our vehicle. But your motor's but you got a vehicle that's been limping, but you're about to put some rims on it.
And cars depreciate with value too.
You need a new roof, but yet you go buy a new car. You got stuff going, you got stuff breaking, and it's like if you're gonna do if you get a lump sum of money, I'm not necessarily saying put all your money into an investment. Take half that money and splurge and do whatever you want to do with it, and take another half of this money and ask yourself, how can I make this money work? Or street terms, how can I flip this?
There you go.
Because we have to start somewhere. Somebody in all these families, somebody got to be the linchpin for the generation going forward. Mm-hmm. And then when you really get into a good space, then you start looking at whole life insurance policies and things like that. That's a whole other ball of wax.
Yet. And then my third one was, if you really want something like shopping, a dress or a pair of jeans or something like a purse, I would say sit on it for a couple of days to see if you really, really want it. Or if you really, really need it. Because most of the time you don't need it. I'm not saying don't spend money on yourself, but I am saying you need to really, really think about, do you really need it, or can you save that money, and use it for something else, like he said, to save it. Because people who buy $1,000 purses and you don't make a good income, it's not an investment at all.
Well, none of that's investment when you buy stuff like that. You make an investment when you buy an expensive watch. That's an investment. When you buy art, that's an investment. Things that The majority of stuff
appreciate with value.
The majority of stuff we buy depreciates. There's very few things that actually appreciates in value.
So that was a couple of things that we have definitely learned. I guess we could talk a little bit later about some other investments. Like we have a rental property, and that is, an income also. And then about the high end, was it high yield? Why am I saying it? I'm saying it wrong.
Well, we already talked about high yield interest.
Well, but you gotta Google it. There's plenty of banks that do it.
All banks are doing it now, and it's.
Well, not all of them are doing it now.
No. Actually, if you just look at the landscape, I'm not saying all of them are like 4+%. I'll say a bank that when I'm saying yesterday, literally, but like a bank last year's interest rates are actually higher now.
Yeah.
All of them across the board have gone up. Some of this is doing to the housing market. Some of it's just it's the market trying to overcompensate itself. It's that's a space that we kind of sort of know about, but we don't know enough to really explain to somebody else.
Well, but the high interest rate, all you have to do is just Google that, and you can find those, and you can put that bulk of money in those and see your money grow. And again, it grows overnight, which is a good thing. It's very easy to do. Not everybody's going to do it. You could tell. We've told probably 3 people, and not one of them has done it.
Oh no, no, maybe one did it. Maybe
I know you.
And when that person went to the website and started looking and actually put it to the calculator, and they were like, "Oh wow, I could have been making this much money over the course of a year by letting that money sit in there." No crap. We tried to tell you that several months ago. You didn't listen.
Yeah.
And obviously these little gems like this, we know everybody's not stock people. We know everybody's not crypto people, but something simple where, you can make 4% interest on every dollar that you throw in there. Just, by doing the routine stuff that you do as, just as a regular working person. Why not do that and leverage the money that you make in the bank that is in to help make you more money? Right. It's
kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah,
when you kind of think of it, it's like it's a no-brainer.
It's common sense. It's common sense, and it's just we're so just locked in the way we're doing things, and we're falling behind. Hey, look, the other side, they got the blueprint, they got the cheat code, and they're sharing it amongst themselves.
That's it right there.
And it's like, hey, and unfortunately, we got some people on our side that got the information that aren't disclosing it with other people. We're not privy to that information, but the information that we know, we share it.
So, to close, if you can't beat them, you got to join them.
You got to pay to play.
Right, so we're just telling you, join them, because like you said, the government is in your face. We are no longer going to help you. Think about that.
No, the government never helped you.
Well, I'm just saying, working till 70 years old, I don't even like people now. And I got to work till I'm 70? Oh, somebody going to get cussed out.
Don't get it twisted when they throw, crisis, yes, they throw out stimulus packages and things like that. Government assistance, government programs where they are offering you some type of cash flow is to actually keep you where you're at. It is not to help you.
Yeah.
When you get into the mind frame of understanding that and just taking a step back and trying to figure this out, then you'll be able to come up with a game plan to try to get yourself out those situations.
Hopefully these little tidbits help. We're going to be dropping more tidbits because we're learning ourselves too. I know a little bit more about the stock than what he does because I have researched a little bit more. I actually met someone who was a millionaire from doing stock. He was also an Air Force pilot. So, yeah. So, thank you for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next because we're going next Sunday. On Sunday. We'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.